Welcome to Hop on Calls, a short, tactical, and practical podcast for outbound sales professionals looking to level up their game by learning from actual cold calls that I make every week live on LinkedIn. My name's Kevin Hopp, and I'm all about helping outbound sales professionals hone their craft and build high-quality pipeline. Let's dive right in and see what we can learn in this episode. Welcome back to another edition of Hop on Calls. We have a special Christmas edition. Check me out. I look very fat and jolly today, which is what I'm trying to do. I'm your host, Kevin Hopp. This is Julie Nestor coming to us from Flossum. Flossum.
It's Flossum. Yes. I want to say Flossum too. Like Flossum is awesome, but no, it's Flossum. Go with the flow.
It's like the teeth you want to keep. You got to floss them.
No. No. Dang it. Sorry, Grish. No. Yeah, it is Flossum, but Flossum is like, it works with what we do. So it's like keeping things in the flow. So.
Okay. Julie, tell the audience a bit about yourself. They probably know who I am at this point, but who's Julie? What do you do? And how'd you get to where you are?
Julie is colorful. Colorful past is very, very long story, so I wouldn't go into it fully, but I have 25 years in sales, many, many different industries of sales. I most recently was in new home sales, which I really, really loved. I have most of my experience with full cycle sales, but have always and started off on the phones, cold calling. Yes. I started off in credit card telesales.
Whoa.
Really hard in the 90s. Really hard job. And then I managed that and then went into customer service, which in credit card sales, in credit card industry, you were always in sales because even in customer service, we were selling balance transfers. We were selling a lot of things.
Oh, yeah.
We did insurance. So I love that. I loved managing a team of salespeople. And that's my favorite thing is coaching people and helping them kind of figure it out and be like, oh my God, I can do this. Because a lot of people don't think they can be a salesperson. They have all these reasons why they couldn't do it. And so that's my favorite thing. I've been rebuilding my career. I was a single mom of 4 kids for a bit there. And that proved to be pretty hard. So I became a freelancer, started working from home, met my husband. And now 11 years later, I am working from home again, breaking into SaaS. And that is because we've got some health problems with my husband to deal with. And I really just want to be working at home. So The SaaS industry is perfect for that.
Right.
So here I am and I love cold calling. So it's been definitely a challenge, Kevin. Just learning for me, being a BDR is a challenge because I've had that full cycle experience. And so sometimes it's a little bit different, but cold calling is like my safe space. It's where I feel pretty good and comfortable.
Wow, this is why we get along. Cold calling is my safe space.
It is. It's where I feel comfortable. Emailing, no. You can just ask Ryan, my manager. Like emailing is not my safe space at all. Like I write novels. I'm a writer.
Right.
And I've always been in social media. I started on MySpace and all that. But I've always been wordy. I mean, even here on LinkedIn, you'll see my posts are always freaking wordy. It's like annoying, but it's just who I am. And so emails, but phone calls, yes, I love it.
Love that. Awesome. You are of a rare breed. That's why I wanted to bring you on the show. You're also recommended by a bunch of other people as someone that crushes phones. So I love that. We are all about cold calling here. And let's give a shout out real quick to our sponsor, Kixie. You're all in one B2B, B2C business phone system. Kixie, I'm gonna be using their power dialer feature today to have a lot of connections with people. Shout out to Kixie. If you guys have not tried Kixie, if you're not using a process, a structure, and technology in what you're doing today, I feel bad for you. I got 99 problems, and lack of tech is not one. Let's put it that way.
Hey, you're right, Kevin. I mean, back in the day, it was like the corded phone. I am happy not to be there today. Having a power dialer. Thank you, Kixie, right?
So. There you go. Yeah. And corded phone. I don't know if my family might have had one of them when I was born, but
I know it ages me. That's why I have to wear hats and stuff just to not age myself. But yeah.
Young at heart. That's what matters.
Forever young.
Well, Julie, we were going to talk a little bit in the beginning here. Let's start out with Flowsome. What do you guys do, and who are you going to be calling today? And then maybe we're going to workshop a little bit of your pitch and try something new.
Yeah. So Flowsome is a Salesforce release management tool. We do a lot of things, and I'm going to be honest and tell you I'm 6 weeks in, and I'm learning everything that we do. But in general, Salesforce, when you're a DevOps team and you're doing releases, there's a lot to it, and everybody has their own processes. They use their own tools, but what's really hard is managing it all and making sure that it's running as smoothly as possible and saving yourself as much time. So we see a lot of people that are, they're coming up with solutions and workarounds to kind of make their process manageable, but causing themselves problems in that process. So
who's your target?
My target right now, today, I'll be calling DevOps managers, like leaders, DevOps teams, and DevOps engineers.
One of the things that I always talk about when I'm talking with teams about their talk tracks is a lot of people want to use specific language. But specific language can do one of two things. It's either going to get you down a really topic-driven conversation quickly, which is what we hope it does, but it can also help people go like this. Boop, check the box. Oh, you're talking about sandboxes? Julie, thanks. Thanks for the call. I already have a sandbox environment. I run it the way I run it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
True.
So one of the things I would think about is, how do we talk about the issues and the errors and the cost savings associated with the sandbox without having to say, we help you with your sandbox environment? You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. I do know what you mean. Now, interestingly enough, we did that. We used to go in at it and say things kind of vaguely where we were, a lot of the DevOps people we talk to are looking to like speed up their release times, cut down on the time spent doing code conflict resolution, kind of keep it vague. I guess that's not even as vague as you're talking. I don't know. But we had a hard time because it was like people were like, we're good. We don't have, or like, but it seemed like this sandbox topic was really getting me a lot.
It's working. So it is getting us into a topic-driven conversation.
Yeah.
Because that's what you want. And one of the things that I think a lot of teams struggle with is if you go too broad, if we just say, hey, I'm from Flowsome, we save you money. Okay. Right.
Good for you.
You go too broad, people are going to say, okay, either I don't believe you, or of course you have the perfect thing and I don't, which I don't want to, no one wants to admit their baby's ugly.
Right.
Then if you go too specific, you get the box checkers, right? So this is actually something that I'm working with intensely. And one of my clients is a cybersecurity company. We are working very intensely on the script and the talk track because the number one objection is, hey, you do cyber? I have cyber. Peace. Right? Everybody thinks that, okay, I bought it.
No, and we run into this. Yeah.
Nice.
Because most of the people that I call have a solution. They already have their solution.
That's right.
So this isn't like, but we are a native solution. There are things that make us different, but that's not what really I'm trying to get into.
Yeah.
So
all right. So why don't we both start dialing here and see if we can't get something going? I'm going to be calling on behalf of my own business, Hopp Consulting Group. I help businesses, B2B tech companies, primarily startups, with outbound structure, process, and strategy. I call it calling culture in general. Right? The idea of how do we have a structure in place, a platform in place, talk track, things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and hit go over here, and you're going to get your stuff.
I'm ready. I'll hit go as well. Hey, this is Julie from Flowsome. How are you?
Sorry, who is this?
Julie from Flowsome. The reason I'm calling you today is because I'm following up on a recent email I sent you. Does the name Flowsome ring a bell?
No, it does not.
Oh, okay. Well, the reason why I'm calling you specifically, Nate, is because you are working with the Salesforce DevOps teams there.
No,
is that right?
No, I'm not. And this is probably, now that you say this, I think this is probably the third or fourth call I've received. But no, I don't work with the Salesforce team here at all.
I'm glad that I was able to figure that out so we can stop calling you. Is there somebody else that I should be calling? I'm really just trying to reach out to them so I can help them with that DevOps process.
Not that I'm aware of. It's definitely outside of the scope of anything I do here. So okay. I wouldn't know where to begin.
Oh, well, well, thanks for thinking of it. And I hope you have a happy holidays.
Thanks, you too.
All right. Thanks, Dan.
All right, bye.
Wrong person.
Yeah, I get that a lot. I'll tell you, that's my biggest opportunity right now is my prospecting. And it's hard because not everybody in their title says Salesforce DevOps. And there's a lot of DevOps, right? And, I'm calling health science companies. So they have a lot of DevOps.
So you're calling health science specifically?
Mm-hmm. Health and life sciences. So hospitals.
Why not mention that?
So definitely. What would you mean?
So I noticed you started the call with, hey, it's Julia with Flowsum. I'm following up on an email.
Yeah.
So the following up on the email opener is as old as email itself, right?
It is.
I know so many teams that love to say I'm following up on an email because then it warms it up. The idea that someone might be like, oh, really? Okay. But 99
I did send them an email. This is true though. But go ahead. But that's
So 99 times out of 100, you didn't send them an email.
No, I did.
They didn't open it, or if they opened it, did they open it? Right. So one of the other things that sucks is like Apple and Google are now using built-in services to open emails that are sent. Right.
Right.
It's hard to land in the inbox. And if you do land in the inbox, you can get a false positive indicator of interest or whatever. Right.
Yeah.
The other thing that drives me nuts, really, is the idea that I opened an email, therefore I'm interested in your stuff.
True.
It's not true, right? So, but no, I'm not trying to poo-poo your opener. I'm just saying, leading with the reason for the call is I sent you an email, can actually put them, and think about this, right? Think about this. It can put them in a state of distrust right away because they don't remember your email.
That's true.
Even if you did send it to them, they opened it and deleted it within 5 seconds. Every single day, I spend, 10, 20, 30 minutes of my day simply deleting emails.
Right.
And you can call me and say I'm following up on email, and I don't care. The only reason I would care is if I replied to that email and it's an actual level of communication. So people open with that because you want it to be warm. You're like, that'll help them go, oh, an email.
Maybe,
okay.
yeah.
But if you think all the way through that, you start to see that, man, okay, well, what if I just said, hey, it's Julie calling with Flowsum. I know I'm calling you out of the blue. Do you have a minute? I'll just explain exactly why I'm reaching out to you.
Okay, I do like that because we were saying, now I'll be honest, our script says, hey, I know I'm calling out of the blue. Mind if I share why?
Yeah.
Do you like that?
I like that.
But my natural brain doesn't say that. I think part of that is my telesales background or something where, maybe it's like, so I'm like crutching it with, like you said, I want to warm it up with that email line, but you're right. It doesn't really warm it up as much as I seem to want to. So I'll try the out of the blue, calling out of the blue thing too.
And then I get as specific as I can. Right. Yeah. So what's nice is you're calling a narrow list, right? So when I'm going to connect with somebody here, it's going to be a founder at a startup. These are all like seed stage founders, but that's still broad. If you know that it's DevOps in health companies, that'd be the first thing out of my mouth. I'd say, all right, well, thanks for giving me a minute here. Jeremy, Tom, Bob, Susie. I work with DevOps people at healthcare and health tech companies to help them, whatever Flowsum does. So in their head, it's checking boxes as they go along. They're like, okay, do I know who this person is? No, but I'm going to let them speak. Okay, Julie. Okay, she sounds nice. Next thing is, oh, you work with companies just like mine. I'm in healthcare tech. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Now the value of what Flowsum's doing should hit as well. If the value misses, then we know we either have a bad target or a bad message. But the value should be specific to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I absolutely know what you mean. I think I have a problem with what I need to kind of nail down is that line there about I work with help, like what exactly, because I've been focusing on this specific, like, oh, we're going to talk about this or we're going to talk about this. And I don't have a good one-liner yet of, did you notice that when I introduced what we do at Flowsum? So that's something I really need to work on is like, do you open with that every time?
So the way I open is context, then a question. Context and a question. The context, like for me, for instance, right? Like, by the way, I'm going to hit go so that I can maybe get a live call while we're talking.
Awesome. Yeah.
But I'll keep explaining. So the
Yeah,
context,
and I'm going to update my script. So go.
context is, here's who I am. I work with companies like yours doing this.
Right. Okay.
I work with people like you doing this.
I work with health life science companies in their Salesforce DevOps release process or something like that, or helping with them. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And then
It doesn't have to be like extremely descriptive. It just has to be quick.
Context and question, because the goal of a cold call is a conversation. You want this volley and response. It's what's different, very different than telemarketing or these other things where it's like, I just want to vomit all this stuff and for you to say yes or no. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I want to get a topic-driven conversation going with somebody. And that's something that I was actually teaching one of my other clients this week too. The idea, when you call, you have an opinion about something going on in this person's business. And the point of the call is to get to the meat of that opinion. Right?
Yeah.
It's not to check the box. Hey, I'm calling with cybersecurity. Do you have cybersecurity? Oh, you do?
Right.
I'm calling with cybersecurity.
Right. I get
that's
you.
not the point. The point is to get them talking about what they're doing for cybersecurity.
I agree.
And so then understanding what you do, what Flowsome does, what your company does in context of what's normally going on at a company, and being able to talk about the business problems and the valuable solution is how you get people to lean forward. And that's all we got for today's episode of Hop on Calls, powered by Kixie. Be sure to tune into the live recordings every Tuesday on LinkedIn. Would love to have your comments, reactions, questions. It's a really good learning environment for anyone that is looking to do outbound sales better. If your organization is actively focusing on this, feel free to reach out to me, Kevin Hopp, on LinkedIn, or go to hoppconsultinggroup.com. I'll see you next time. Cheers.